Green Monster of the Swamp. This boss is a two-faced fight with both phases having full health bars. He is surprisingly one of the easier bosses between mid to late game. So first things first, if you are dodging him, I want you to get yourself over to Venini's and craft yourself the Aegis shield. Once you've done that, make sure to upgrade it to the second upgrade. This allows you to hold the shield out until an enemy attacks you. You will need this for phase 2 of this fight. Another item you will need to equip is Venini's Urgent Repair Tool. This is because this boss destroys your weapon durability faster than any other boss in the game, so the repair tool is just handy to have for these situations. One more thing to note, this boss is really weak to fire in the first phase and electricity in the second phase. Now you can still use fire in the second phase, but I tested them both out and for me, electricity was more effective. But if you have an amazing build incorporating fire, feel free to use that. So the first move we are taking a look at is this red charge attack. It's the first move he will do as soon as you step into the boss room. Another move that he likes to do is to dig underground and charge towards you. Both of these moves can simply be avoided by staying at the entrance of the boss room. You can also punish the boss by getting in a charge attack and a few other hits if you're able to. This boss also frequently uses both of these attacks throughout the fight in phase 1. So the moment you see him start digging into the ground, turn tails and run the other way. As soon as he comes up out of the ground, you can also punish him with a charge attack and a few hits. The moment you see him glow red and he starts to charge towards you, counts 3 to 4 seconds and you should be able to perfect parry him. This is of course dependent on how far away the boss is from you, and because this is a charge attack, I understand that it'll be slightly more difficult to pinpoint exactly when to parry. So I'm going to attempt to pause the video at the right moment where I believe you should press the parry button to be able to parry the boss. Here. Right here is the perfect time to press the parry button. He has to be around about this close for the game to count your parry as a perfect parry. Now it might take a few tries to get down, but once you get it down, it's so easy. Because this parry will stagger him every single time, you can also punish him with a charge attack or a few moves that'll do some good damage. Alternatively, you can just stay by the monster's side the entire time and he will not do the red attack or the underground attack. Admittedly, this does leave you wide open because you are super close to him, which means he can attack you at any point. But this does avoid the two biggest attacks that he has in phase 1. And at the end of this video, you should know every single one of his attacks so you know what to do. If for some reason you are in front of him and he does do this move, just run away from him. He normally does around about 9 steps before the red attack charges over. You can also time this and charge attack him or attack him after the animation. The next move we are taking a look at is this 3 heavy slam combo starting with the right arm. In all honesty, you don't have to parry these at all. You can either dodge left or right and you'll be perfectly fine. You can also get a few hits in as he's trying to do this combo. The problem, however, is the final hit, which is a red attack. From the moment he starts glowing, it's about 3 seconds into the perfect parry. Alternatively, because the move takes so long, you have enough time to run around the boss, get behind him, and the move should miss you. This also leaves the boss completely open to some serious damage, so get in there. If you see the boss lower its head and shake it vigorously like this, it's a tentacle attack. From the moment you see him shake his head, it's about 3.5 seconds for the first hit. For the second hit, you're gonna have to feel it. It's not exactly instant, but it's too quick to be timed. I would say it's within the space of half a heartbeat, but you can experiment with that. Alternatively, you could just run away the second you see him shaking his head. The other thing he does after shaking his head is an acid attack. If you are far away from him, just run away from the acid. If you are close to him, either run left or right to avoid it. This move is both the easiest to dodge and the best to punish. As soon as you see him scream like this, wait for the attack of the left arm. Once he attacks you, dodge to his left and then put about 4 or 5 seconds of damage as he continues and finishes his animation. If you see the boss walk sideways like this, get out of there. It's a tentacle attack. It's just better and safer to leave the area and let the boss finish his animation. This move right here is a grab attack. It really doesn't do anything else but pull you closer to the boss. It still does do some damage though, so dodge accordingly towards him and punish him for it. This move right here is just a left arm swipe. He does this quite a bit. It's pretty easy to dodge. If you want to perfect parry this move, count 2 seconds after you see his body turn to his right. And last but not least, this tongue attack. He doesn't do this move often. It's very rare for him to do it. Because of this, I don't have any footage of him doing this move, and the one time he does do it, he gets me with it. But ultimately, if he does show you this move, you can either dodge left or right to avoid it. Let's take a look at phase 2. These swipes are what I call his primary moves. He does them all the time, and he he alternates them too. So sometimes he'll do it once, sometimes twice, sometimes he'll do it in a full combo. The full combo consists of him spinning his hand in the end and then slamming it onto the floor, as well as the antennas on top of his head, as you can see right here. But if you notice, I don't parry these moves. I prefer dodging them and hitting him in between. It is, in my opinion, the most effective way to deal with this boss and get some good damage in there. Dodge left or right to avoid these moves and only hit him if you are able to. The other move this boss has is he will stand up on these two legs, twist his upper body upside down, and then start slamming his tentacles onto the floor. I do not bother engaging with the boss as he is doing this animation. I disengage, wait for him to finish, and then go back in to punish him as he is twisting his body back around. This takes a few seconds and you can probably get a couple hits in. This charge attack is the most devastating move this boss has in phase 2. He always starts when he is far away from you, and if you block or dodge this move, he will do it 3 times, with the third one being a red attack. Parrying this move is exactly the same way as parrying the first phase red charge attack. Once he starts charging towards you, you have to wait until he is this close to you to be able to press the parry button and perfect parry him. If he isn't this close to you, it will not work and you will either block him or just miss it completely. If you are dodged focused, you can evade this move by running and dodging into him as he gets closer to you. But on the third charge, don't do what I did here. Instead, you want to turn around and run backwards. Alternatively, and this is where the Aegis shield comes in, as soon as you see him charging, hold the shield out and it will perfect parry him. If for some reason he keeps charging, not a problem. Wait until the red attack. Once you see the red attack, turn around and run. He doesn't really run after you. His red attack is a tumble attack and he just rolls on the floor. This won't touch you if you are far away from him. You can also, of course, punish him with a charged attack after the animation. With this combo, he slams both his arms on the floor, one after the other, starting with the right hand, and the final one is his whole body on the floor as a red attack. He also slams both tentacles on the ground as well, and then sweeps them to their corresponding sides. Now, I don't bother parrying the first 2 moves. I'd rather dodge and hit him in between, but as soon as the second arm hits, count 5.5 seconds to parry the red attack. Once you've parried the attack, you should be right in front of him in a safe space where the tentacles won't touch you. While he's whipping his tentacles to the sides, go in there and get a few hits in. He also takes a couple seconds to stand up, so use that to your advantage. If you are dodged focused, you want to dodge left or right for the first 2 attacks, but for the red attack, you want to run directly in front of him but the opposite direction. This should put you in that same safe space where he doesn't touch you and his tentacles doesn't touch you either. You can then go in there to get a charge attack in. Another thing this boss loves doing is jumping around a lot. There's not much to say for his jumping, except that every single one of them can be easily dodged, including the red attack that he does when he jumps. As long as you are not directly under him when you dodge his red attack, you will completely miss it, and you can also punish him whenever he gives you the chance to. But for my parry fiends, as soon as you see him start glowing red, count about 3 seconds for the perfect parry. If you see him swinging his arm like this, his left arm, he is only creating space between you and him, so don't really worry about it. You can just easily dodge it and just keep it moving. This boss does have some charge attacks with both his right and his left arm. They are easily dodged, but this one specifically, dodge towards his left and stay there and attack him. You can get a charge attack and a couple more hits if your weapon is fast enough. There is one more attack that this boss has, which is he lifts his entire body and then thrusts both tentacles at you. You can either dodge accordingly or use the Aegis shield. Now, if I'm being very honest with you, the shield is perfect for the majority of this boss's attacks, so feel free to use it. And that is everything you need to know for the green swamp monster. I didn't bother talking about how long it'll take or how many parries it will take to get the white outline around the health bar, because the majority of this boss fight was me dodging his moves as opposed to parrying them. I did parry bits and pieces here and there, but the majority of it was just dodgeable, or I'd leave him to finish his animation and then attack him. That's pretty much it. But now you should find him a lot easier to deal with and you should be able to kill him. Maybe not first try, but when you keep doing it, you know what to do, you'll get him.